That's what I expected.
Hey guys, press any button and we are back for another tutorial. I'm going to try and squash in a lot of content into 10 minutes because I don't like to edit videos that run any longer than that, and I don't think you guys like to watch any videos longer than that, and I know that because the analytics tell me so. So let's get straight into what we're going to do today. We're just going to catch up with what we've previously done with our other project. Obviously we're doing this graphical overhaul, but we want to make sure that our game is actually playable and that we implement these things as we go so that we don't encounter huge problems when we get to the end of this thing. So first thing we want to do is we're going to go over to this running animation and just a simple fix for you guys. So the running animation probably loops really good for you if you've set it up in the way that we previously did in the part just past. And that's all good and well, but I realized that we left out a frame. That frame is just going to sit in the middle here. It's going to be after our big lunge with the more vibrant leg forward. So the forward leg forward. And it's just going to be a land like that. It'll be the opposite of this initial frame that we have here. So we're going to have that landing animation there. I'd walk through it, but you guys know how to do it, so I guess I'll set it as homework. Just drag these frames across to make some space for yourself. So select, shift, select, and then move them around. And that's pretty much all you'll have to do for that. All right, one other thing. If you notice that any parts of your character are clipping through where they shouldn't be, say her arm is clipping through the back of this jacket here or anything like that, in my example, and where you'll find that to be an issue is when you look at your frames for your running animation, this foot right here is going to clip behind this foot, and that's definitely not something that we want. So how are we going to fix that? Well, it's easy. You just bring it up in the layers. So all I did was I found the layer for this foot. You can see I can toggle it by making it invisible, and then I dragged it up and put it just below this leg and just above this other leg. The other foot I didn't really bother with because it sits in the background anyway, so it can be obscured by whatever. Once you've done that, save that. I'm not going to save it because it's going to mess up whatever I'm doing right now, and then we'll go back into Unity and everything should be sorted. Great, that's all the animation stuff done. Let's get the actual gameplay sorted. Now, how are you going to get your assets from your old project to your new project? Well, I got news for you. Control C, Control V, they're going to be your best friends in this part. So let's find where we save all of our projects, because this might be a little bit of an issue for any of us guys, you know, guys and gals, all that stuff. So what I'll do to find where my projects are, I'm going to right click and then hit show in Explorer, and you can see that I have my assets there and I've got all my project stuff there. Then I'm going to go to my actual I guess the overall folder that has my stuff in there, and we're going to go to the previous RNG project, so we called it RNG previously, and then we'll go over to assets, and the first thing that we want to import is our scripts. Now when you import your script, you can actually just take the CS file and move it into your new project and it'll be all good. So I'm gonna do that with player shots just so you trust me. So I'm going to take this and I'm gonna just drop it in package exports, which is probably not the place I wanted to drop it, but hey oh. Anyway, it's loading in there, and then oh, it didn't even go to package exports, it just went straight to the assets folder. That's fine. Anyway, here it is in the assets folder, and so I believe it's created the metadata. Should have, because I used the same method to implement the running script. Once you've got a handle of how to get your scripts in there, make sure you do your organization. The primary script we're going to be looking at is going to be the player movement script. So make sure you get that into your project. Here we've got the player movement script. To assign it to our character, all we got to do is just drag it over to our character there. I'm not going to do that because I've already got it set up. And you can see that I've done a couple of things to my character that you won't have already. So let's just go down the list and figure this out together. So I've got a rigid body 2D. So all you got to do is just go add component, rigid body, RIG. It'll come up rigid body 2D. And then we're going to freeze the rotation on the Z axis and leave all the other settings. Then we're going to go Capsule Collider 2D, same thing. We type in Capsule Collider 2D comes up, and then we're going to adjust the sizes. Now this is going to allow us to deal with the sizes horizontally, and this will allow us to deal with the sizes vertically. So shape it to your character, and then once you've got that sorted, mess around with the offset so that their collider's not like all the way down there, but in a reasonable place. That would show that they are in fact interacting with the ground as a normal anything would do. Okay, we're also going to scale down our character because later on we're going to notice that our jumps become very floaty. We don't want that. That's going to be an issue, and it's just going to look really weird and Pacific Rim-esque. And it is Pacific Rim-esque because the only reason that happens is because our character is so big that Unity's like, oh, big character, big floaty, right? So yeah, that's not what we want. If you think, you watch something like Godzilla, when he throws out a punch, it's not like Mayweather jab. It takes time, and there's big swaying, swooshing movements, and I guess Unity just simulates that in the way that gravity affects bigger characters. So we're going to shrink down our character. Another reason, it's just more realistic. Each of these blocks, each of these tiles that we've set up is about 1 meter, and our character is not going to be like 10 meters tall. Their size should be more relative to the environment around them. Unless we are making a giant person, then go ahead, leave the scale at 1. But I've set it to 0.25, and I've left the Z axis. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is go to Game Object, 2D Object, and we're gonna hit Tile Map. Once you hit Tile Map, you'll get a grid, and you'll get a tile map with that grid. As you can see, I already have my grid here, and I have my tile map, and it's called Main Ground. And we've got the tile palette window, which you should have started the project off with. How are we going to get our tiles if we don't have the stuff there? So I'm just going to go to my own project right now, and I'm going to do something I probably shouldn't and remove all the tiles. There we are. I don't have any more tiles. I'll let Unity deal with that. Look at that. We just got like a pink thing because there's nothing to occupy that space. So how are we going to pull these tiles from our other project? Well, we go to the folder for our other project again. So we're just going to go all the way back into RNG, and then assets, tiles. I'm just going to straight copy it. That's what I'm going to do. So we hit Control C. And then go back to where we want to go to, run and gun, and I've got a tiles folder. I should have probably just not made that, but hey, there we are, Control V, and then my tiles are in there. We'll let it load up in Unity, and there we have it. We've got our tiles. They show up in the tile palette. We don't have to mess around with them. And what we can do is we can select some tiles and implement them, and see that takes up those I guess placeholders that we had there. Those are super ugly, so I'm just gonna, yeah, there we go. All right, now you might be wondering, how do we get our character to interact with these tiles? We did it previously, but it's been a minute. I have been inconsistent. We know what it is. over here. So we're going to apply some things to our main ground. So again, I'm going to add that tile map so that we're in the same sort of spot. So you'll have the tile map renderer, you'll have all that sorted there. And what you'll find is when you add that tile map, it's going to be added to the list of tile maps that we've got down here. And now the only differences that we have between what you'll have and what I have is that our tile map collider 2D is not there. We need a rigid body 2D, and you're going to set that to static so that the ground doesn't fall. And you're going to need a composite collider 2D. And what that's going to do is it's just going to wrap a nice collider around your tiles there. So that's pretty much all we got time for today. What you can do is you can run your project and make sure that your character's not falling through the ground. And so I can see that my character's not falling. And the next thing that we'll do in the next part is have our character run like this. And what I'll also be doing is just going over some little animation things that we can do with the position, because as we can see, our character's a bit floaty. But that has been another Press Any Button tutorial. If you liked it, you know what to do. Anyway guys, press on and keep creating.